Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another session of our summer webinar series. Today we have Brett Wright from NextLED, and he's going to discuss strategies to maximize revenue and tap into the potential of electronic message centers. If you guys have any questions, feel free to type them into the Q&A, and I will read them as they come in. Brett?
Thank you. All right. Hey, everybody. I'm assuming you all can see me. I can't see you, so I'm not using a lot of video platforms, and Teams is one that I'm sort of unfamiliar with, but I think I can handle this. Like Tara mentioned, I am Brett Wright. I am in charge of sales here at NextLED. I'm joining you from Wichita, Kansas, where it's like 100 and a million degrees outside, but I am in our video production room, and we work with Tube Light Denko and sell an incredible product that we launched about 3 or 4 years ago in the EMC space. I'm not here to sell you a product necessarily today, but since I'm in this video room and I haven't shared my screen yet, I will tell you that you're all invited to do a custom demonstration of our Stacks product anytime you want, or if you have some one-on-one questions. I'm certainly going to share all of my info, so you can always hit me up online or on my cell phone after this presentation. But what I'm going to talk about today is it's not very product centric. It is really about something I believe in. When I met my business partner, Luke Luttrell, our CEO, 13, 14 years ago, and we decided to launch Next, I became passionate about how EMCs can help small businesses. And I've learned over the last dozen plus years how sign shops can change the scope of the business they do by looking for opportunities to sell this product versus maybe some of the other ones that they're consistently using and selling on a day-to-day basis. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. We'll just do my best to run through this. All right, so I'm here to talk about how to make money. That's mostly why we all get up in the morning, go to work, selling products, and supporting our customers and our communities. So this is an interesting product in the signage space. I know that the term sign company specifically can refer to everybody from primarily printed graphics to full service customer electric shops to internal shops at certain points. But in order to sell EMCs, I'm going to tell you what I've experienced with some of the best people in the country, best sign shops that really do a lot of this product and make a lot of money. And I'm going to give you 5 tips. The first one is not revolutionary, but sometimes we have to be reminded, right? The people that make a ton of money selling EMCs, they try to sell them. They're not just waiting for inquiries or bid opportunities. They are actively trying to sell it. And one of the little cues I use is EMC IEP. That means electronic message center, or EMC, in every proposal. And I know it sounds brash maybe, but I have customers that sell $1 million a year of this product. And if somebody calls them for channel letters, they show up with a proposal on how to add an EMC to a pylon. Or if somebody calls for a very basic internally lit cabinet, they obviously provide that quote for them, but they'll also show up and talk about the benefits of selling. They're active prospectors. All right. So one thing we don't do a great job of in the sign business a lot is really getting out and selling. Maybe some of your companies out there have sales professionals that are really working, but making cold calls or introductions, some of these are the verticals that are slightly no-brainers, but churches, banks, schools, medical facilities. Jot this down. Dentist office are becoming a huge user of this product, and we'll talk about maybe why they fit the perfect opportunity for this as a marketing tool. But some of these verticals are places where you will find success and opportunities, and at least people taking a look at what you might have to offer. Media users. So when I got out of college, my background for 10 plus years was selling advertising. So I worked in radio and TV and newspaper and custom magazines. These are people, small and medium-sized companies, looking to reach people. So if you have an active sales team or you own a sign shop, if you flip on your local radio, your FM station or AM station as you're driving around, the businesses that you hear on there, are absolutely a target for an elevated level of marketing on their signs. And so I use that as a prospecting tool, or talk to people about using that as a prospecting tool. If you hear such and such is offering or is advertising their restaurant, that means they're trying to reach people who are in their cars and they have an advertising budget, which we'll get to. And so that's a great prospect for this. The Joneses is my favorite. The Joneses means when you sell a sign, and especially a digital sign, the people in that neighborhood are now going to be in the market for your product. Believe it or not, the second that Mexican restaurant puts up a digital sign that looks great, obviously the competing restaurant down the road might want one. Also, it gives your sales team an opportunity to make some very warm cold calls, right? So the approach I would take there is, if you have a entrepreneurial salesperson, you just installed a Mexican restaurant sign, he can call and stop by some of the others and say, we just did one across town, you should check it out or maybe consider it. So the Joneses is a great place. If I see an LED sign at an automobile dealership in a market, I don't see one, I see about 7, because once one car dealer puts one up, the rest will as well. So that's a great prospecting opportunity also. And then obviously our old favorite, the reason we exist as a product category, the old white reader board people. Some are still married to the technology, for lack of a better term, of taking a stick and putting letters upside down and turning 7s into L's and 3s into E's, etc. But just stopping into these people and say, we're seeing a lot of people upgrade these older white signs. Maybe we can help you, move into the 21st century with a digital solution. The second like tip that I have, and this comes from just talking to sign shops of all different sizes, and I call it big ticket, so what? I have been into a lot of smaller print-focused franchise groups or print-focused smaller sign shops that might not have huge manufacturing or install facilities. And what I've heard a lot is, oh, we don't sell those signs. They're $40,000. Our average ticket is $382, worth of real estate signs or the printing, etc. But honestly, while the margin percentage on this LED sign might not be the same that you're used to with a print job or with even channel letters or something like that, the margin dollars are significant. And once sign shops become comfortable that they can do this, and that's hopefully what I can help you do, whether it's today or in the future, they realize that all of a sudden you can sell a 4x8 digital sign and make $8,000 in profit. That is a lot of school flyers or banners. The other part about EMCs is, while you might only make 20 or 30 or 40% margin on the EMC specifically, it always comes with ancillary profits as well, right? Because once they start buying a product like this from you, you're selling them their other signage, you're making money on an install. So I don't want anybody to get bogged down with, wow, that's really expensive and the margins are a little bit lower than I'm used to. I want you to think about what that total number, that total margin dollar is. And if you were to sell a $20,000 to $40,000 sign every month, what that does to your top line number in terms of your total business sales as well. Building a network. This is something that I have seen firsthand from some really entrepreneurial sign shops that were, let's just be honest, late adopters to this technology. So we've been working with customers for 10 plus years that got into the business as a guy in a truck installer, or got into the business as primarily a graphics shop, and they found opportunities to sell this. Now, they might not have had a truck to install. They might not have had a way to build ID cabinets to go with the LED sign, but they have looked for opportunities to network. And that's I think everybody on this call will shake their head yes, as I say, that's what's so cool about this industry, is that we have some people that do it all, but in every single market I've ever been to, we have people that are really good at design, people that are really good at install, people that are really good at selling. And putting a few of those pieces together, we've had a wholesale business in this industry forever. We've had wholesalers. Why can't anybody with a computer and a desk and a car and a cell phone put together a signage package for an end user customer and go out and make some real money and give their fellow industry, industry people the chance to make a little money too. I have sign shops that do full service sales and installation, and they've networked to much smaller sign shops in a bigger geographic area. So they will go to a guy in a town 50 miles away who tells them, I don't really do a lot of those EMCs. If you ask the question, do you get asked about it? Most of them will say yes, and I just refer it out, or I tell them I don't do it. Instead of allowing that, maybe you can form a partnership where you pay him a couple grand if he can bring you a lead. I've seen, I mean, off the top of my head, $3 or $4 million sales of EMC companies that all work with smaller signage shops. So it's not always just the biggest third generation full service electric shops that can be successful with this type of product. A lot of times it is more well-rounded thinkers that can create a network to deliver the same type of product that a full service 50,000 square foot warehouse shop might do. Be consultative in how you sell, right? So again, I am selling a product that I know is a big ticket. And I shouldn't be scared of that, because what I am selling is a solution, and I'll get into that here in my next point. But when you go in to potentially sell this product, find out what kind of advertising or marketing the customer is doing. How are they connecting with their community, right? Are they supporting 5K runs? Are they on Facebook, propagating, their business philosophies or their mission statements? Find out a little bit about their company, because one thing we've done in this industry, and I know this industry, like I said, I love it because it runs the gamut from art to construction to advertising. But by asking these companies what they're doing right now to grow their business or sell more widgets or hamburgers or invite people to their services, find out if they have co-op funds. For those that don't know, when a retailer sells a product, let's just say they sell John Deere, John Deere will typically give them an advertising budget to co-op some marketing that they do. And I've seen in the last 5 years where those co-op programs will extend to digital signage. So while this may be a $40,000 product on your proposal to that customer, who knows, their John Deere or their Monster energy drinks might be giving them, a few $100 a month so that you promote those products. But by being consultative, you've changed your position in their marketing mix, and you're not just showing up selling a sign product, you're showing up selling a solution. And then my last favorite thing, and this is probably a little further down in the sales cycle, but once you can have a conversation and somebody's considering whether they should invest in this type of product or not, ask them what they would put on it. When I used to write TV ads for local customers, my favorite thing was to write an ad. I'd do my best, but then I'd give them a red pen. And I knew as soon as they got the red pen and started changing my words or saying, no, let's put my dog in it here, or no, I've got a great spokesperson. At that point, they're now visualizing their advertising. And so when you can go to your customer and say, let's say we can do this. Let's say you've got the money and it makes sense and it will help your business. What would you put on it? As soon as they start to talk about their 2-for-1 on Tuesdays, or congratulating their employee of the month, or recognizing every new patient for their first trip to the dentist, now they are visualizing actually owning that product and how it's going to work for them. Being fast. Some of us in this industry are really good at it, and some of us are not. I understand that not every single sales scenario can allow you to be fast. But one thing we really focus on as a company from our end of things, so that hopefully it works down line, is being fast. When you call your tube light rep or me, you're going to get immediate quotes. But you should also take that concept and see how you can move it into the market. Because one thing that's worthless as a salesperson is taking a long time to get a no, right? Let's go for the no right away. and then figure out if we have an opportunity at a yes. So I try to get out immediate quotes. The companies that I have seen do really well in this space, they know what their prices are. It sounds really silly, but every one of us can think of a scenario as a consumer buying a product where we just want to know what it costs, man. I bought a driveway, like least fun money you can spend, but I had 4 people that were supposed to show up. 3 of them, two of them didn't show at all. One of them showed up and told me he'd have me a quote back. 2 weeks later, I never heard from him. Another guy showed up, marked it off. He knows what his square footage of concrete costs. He knew how fast he could get it in, and he knew his labor. He ballparked for me the number, and I hired him right there that day because that's all I needed to know. Was it in the budget that I thought? This is a very ballpark number, and I talk ballparks. Some salespeople don't like it. I'm going to tell you, you can be successful with ballparks. A digital sign, 10 millimeter stacks. I know there's a million variables in any project. So I'm not talking install or other signage, but if you set $1,000 a square foot for a double face sign, that is quickly going to let you know if your lead is qualified. Okay. So a 4x8, and you're in the $32,000 range to put that up on your pole. Now we're going to have an install cost. You're going to want an ID cabinet, all of those things that you obviously get into as a professional sign person. But let's find out if they understand what they're really getting into, or they think they're buying a 70-inch TV from Walmart for $300. And so qualifying that lead is smart on your part, and it helps you move quickly. Turnkey packages are something that I've talked about and I've seen from really successful companies. I don't want any graphics people to yell at me or send me nasty messages, because I freaking love going to sign shows and looking at the awards. I geek out over old signage, new signage, cool signage, whether it's digital or not. But the fact of the matter is, we are largely a rectangle business. All right. Rectangle on a pole with a potential rectangle on the bottom. While it's not sexy all the time, it is an effective way to build a company. It's an effective way to keep the lights on so that you can go do, a handful of super cool projects a year. But turnkey packages is one way that you can outfit your sales team with the ability to get out there and qualify and move quickly into closing. And having quick project lead times. Again, if I can show up the first call and somebody says, what would a new sign cost me? My sales team probably should have that in the back of their head. You'd be stunned. Some of you would be stunned at how many people do not know, because they have to go back to estimating. And estimating's got 72 folders ahead of theirs. Every single day that goes by, that potential lead is getting a little bit colder. Now, is this the right approach for every account? Obviously not. But if you're trying to develop new business, which is mostly what I'm here to coach today, is developing business that wasn't calling you, then having quick lead times and turnkey packages will really help. Here is a very simple sample of how you could pull this out on an iPad or on a PDF for a customer. It's a basic sign, right? Nice looking monument sign. Gives a ballpark price for what you would get turnkey. Then on the side, it can give a couple of simple elements. If you made this change here, you could save a little money. If you made that change there, you could save a little money. If you have your own pole in the ground already, you could save a little money. Believe it or not, I have seen sign shops with something similar to this walk into a meeting and out with a contract or a down payment check. I would always obviously recommend that you come back with your formal contract, but having something like this available for your reps to use can be a game changer in terms of getting on to the next deal, letting them have more time to follow up on new customers, and giving the customer a real look at what this sign's going to cost, right? Selling the why. All right, this is why I'm in this business. Far too often, our product gets looked at as a capital expense. To me, a capital expense for a business is fixing a roof, buying a new truck, all the things that are necessary when you own a business. But what you're buying when you buy an LED sign is a solution. And so your sales team and you need to be comfortable with what this is supposed to do for the customer. I know they think they want it because the guy down the street wants it, which is fine. I'll take those kind of leads and those kinds of sales all the time. But especially for some that maybe were thinking about building a new pole sign but hadn't thought about LED until you introduced it, EMC, IEP, you need to talk about what they're buying, right? So what are the advantages of this product versus any of the other marketing somebody else can do? Somebody can buy TV ads, they can wrap their trucks, they can buy Facebook ads, etc. But what LED signs are good at is they are attention grabbing, meaning even though signage is absolutely important from a wayfinding and a branding standpoint, static signage, we all know that it can and probably will become blind. A lot of customers that drive by it might become blind to it. We are attention grabbing and changing all the time. CPM is a cost per thousand calculation that I'm going to try to show you. I'm assuming the screen share works. But it means how much did you spend to reach 1,000 people? LED signs are easily one of the lowest CPMs versus other media. Often, $1 for the life of a sign to reach 1,000 people, whereas radio or TV might be $7 to $20. And speaking of radio and TV, the competition in those mediums is so fragmented now. I haven't listened to an AM or FM station unless it's helping in prospecting for a long time. I listen on my phone. TV, I don't even have it, man. We all stream, right? And so deciding where somebody might want to spend their marketing money, I want them to think about me as an alternative to those mediums that they think about traditional. It's low cost production. I don't have to go spend thousands of dollars to shoot a new TV spot. I can easily use sign software, companion software, create new messages. Oh, I've got too many wings on in my freezer. I'm going to do half off wings. I can do that in 10 minutes and have it on my sign. And then as you look at LED signs, one of the biggest benefits is that they are timely. Like I said, putting up information that matters that day to that consumer, for that business. They are relevant and they are consistent. Your sign is going nowhere. In fact, we welded it to a pole. And being consistent in marketing is really important. And so when you're paying a radio station a monthly fee, you might have a bad month, so you cancel your advertising. Oh, your Facebook spend went a little high last month, so you cut it back. One thing our sign is going to do is going to consistently market to the right people, which is 85%. 85% of people that do business at a small business live or work within 5 miles of that shop. That is a very important statistic to remember, because we are actually spending marketing dollars to buy this sign to reach the people that might actually market with us or might actually shop with us. I am on the east side of Wichita today. If I hear a radio ad or see a Facebook ad for a lunch spot that is on the west side of Wichita, 28 minutes away, it probably wasn't money well spent by that company, because I'm not going to go there. If I drive by somebody that has a good looking sign and advertises a product I'm interested in, chances are you hear the tires screech and I pull in and shop. The other thing we can help you do is build a brand. And when I say that, I mean that, a small business isn't just the products they sell, it's the message that they create. So does their stuff look good, right? Does their content look good? I might go in there because they look upscale or they look like they've got their act together. Do they talk about their employees? I might just like to do business with somebody that wishes their employees happy birthday, or tells me about a 5K run for leukemia this weekend. So the opportunity with dynamic content is there to go beyond just what your static signage does for you, which cements a brand or helps with wayfinding. Dynamic digital can really help go a little bit deeper in what that consumer thinks about the end user. And so these are things that as soon as you start talking to them about it, we're not talking about $40,000 anymore. We're talking about marketing. And the last thing that's so important is you, as a business, you get to own this, right? As soon as you stop paying for your radio ads, they come off the air. You rent those for life. You might own the audio file to put somewhere else, but you're not going to make any impact without renting space or renting time from anybody. I think we're one of the few, if not the only, investment, and signage is very much like that if you look at it as media, but from a dynamic standpoint, the business owner owns their media. They're not renting it from anybody else. ROI is something that is a little elusive in our business, but I do have some calculators. You're going to see and it's not going to link. So I do have an ROI calculator where you can walk your customer through an actual scenario to see how fast they might pay back their sign. We've all seen that SBA study that says adding digital to static signage can increase a business's sales by 15 at the minimum to 150%. Okay, so I have a calculator. We can show your customer, I know this is a $50,000 sign project, and based on your gross margins of your industry, or if you share your gross margins, based on your daily sales, based on the small increase that we could project to be conservative, you could pay back your sign in 21 months, and then you've still got another 7 to 10 years of using it and owning that media. The last thing that I talk about a lot is financing. If you guys have any questions about how to use equipment lease programs or equipment financing and the Section 179 tax benefits, your two Light Denco reps can absolutely steer you in the right direction. We work very closely with a company called Geneva Capital, but ultimately the bottom line about financing, and I'll show you a couple screenshots, but that takes my whole pitch and makes it reality. You know, my pitch is that this is an advertising or a marketing tool, which most businesses have a marketing budget. Asking them to write a $50,000 check one time, that kind of puts it in the capital expense budget, right? Depending on how they do their accounting. But from a mental standpoint, that's what it does. When you offer financing or lead the way to financing, all of a sudden it takes your $50,000 sign package and makes it $1,500 a month or $700 a month. And so all of a sudden that end user starts thinking of this, oh yeah, for what it is, a marketing tool. And I'm going to invest a monthly amount to advertise to the 28,000 people that drive by my shop every day. Once I show you this tool that Geneva Capital has, I encourage you to download it on your phone while you're watching me talk. It's terrific because and then show them the monthly spend on your proposal. So when you do go back with your pretty rendering and your completed proposal, you can show that the project's 50,000, but really it's $1,100 a month or whatever that is. This is what the tool looks like in the App Store. It's called Geneva Capital Tools. It's terrific. When you use this right on your phone, standing in front of your customer, you can do something like some of these screenshots. So this example is showing a $50,000 total project over 36 months. And you can see that, you know, it's $1,500 to $1,700 a month. That term will stretch out to 60 months. Obviously, you want to tell them, you know, you're not the one offering the financing, which is my favorite part of it. You just get Geneva involved. Their app is one page or a couple clicks on a phone or a website. You can also show them how some of the tax benefits break down using depreciation. And before you know it, you can get a quote and get their team involved. One of the things that they do really well, and it's kept me promoting them, to be frank, is they will help follow up on your sales lead, right? So you left, you made a good proposal, business owner needs to talk to her husband. But in the meantime, as that sales cycle continues, Geneva will touch base and make sure they understand what they're getting into if they use a financing option. So I really encourage, you'll have plenty of customers that don't need it. They want to use their bank's money or their own line of credit, but there are a lot of benefits to working with this third party, the least of which is that you can say you're not the financing guy and you get out of the way and let them do what they do best. One of the last things that I'm going to kind of touch on is you need to walk in, and when you're selling something of this magnitude and this price that the customer has expectations of, you need to ensure that they're successful. And what I mean most is that you know that you are walking into that proposal with an absolutely complete solution, right? And so what does a complete solution mean? It means a beautiful looking sign. Our company sells 10 millimeter and 6 millimeter product. They look incredible. They have a lifetime brightness that is going to beat the sun as long as that sign is on the pole. That sign is going to look terrific. I'm not selling out of date technology. I'm not selling scrolling red. I'm not selling just a time and temp, and I'm not selling 20 millimeter product that was state of the art 13 years ago. I'm selling very high definition, terrific stuff for most commercial applications. A cloud-based software, bare minimum anymore. Your customer needs to operate their sign from anywhere in the world. They can be on vacation in Zimbabwe. They can be at their shop. Their marketing person in Florida can run their sign in Virginia. And cloud-based software allows all of that to happen. In order for that to happen, your sign has to be online. So I know that our company offers a lifetime cellular connection with that sign. So if I'm a sign salesperson and I'm walking in and asking somebody to invest real money in this, I know that I'm bringing a product that will stay online. If you're going to invest in this, we're going to invest in you. It helps all service tickets. It helps keep you online so your cloud-based software can work. And it's very, very, very low instances of failure relative to the old radios that we used to use. And you don't have to deal with IT guys, which is terrific. Customer support and training for life. So you need to plan on being involved in your customer's life as a customer, because hey, they bought something big from you. Just like if you buy a nice vehicle from a dealership, they should plan on you coming back to that dealership every once in a while. But at our company, we make sure that somebody is trained for life. So if you sell a sign to a school and a new secretary moves in after the 3rd year of owning it and needs to understand how to use the software, we're going to make sure that that new secretary can get trained. And that kind of support permeates our company, but it should permeate your salespeople when you're selling something. That's a pretty big investment. Warranty. So when we talk about a complete solution, again, I don't want you guys out there selling price and price and price and price. Most of these products are a significant investment. One thing I will tell you with our Stacks product is because it's modular and really easy to work with, I think that a lot of really good sign shops that sell a lot of these include their own labor warranty. We offer a labor warranty as an add-on, but the ones that do it best, they include their own labor warranty. They know that you can change a module in 10 minutes and move on down the line. But when you're presenting to your customer and you're like, you know what, you're going to invest in this, you got nothing to worry about for 5 years. That's a game changer, especially if they're looking at a competitive sign company making a similar pitch from across town. One of the last things I'll tell you is that content is king. Okay. The dirty secret in our industry for as long as I've been involved in it is that every LED manufacturer, just like me, wants to talk about our bits and our bytes and our circuit boards and our modules and our cabling, all of which is important hardware stuff. But ultimately, we all put a black box up on a pole and then we get power to it. After that, it's up to the customer to decide how good that sign looks, right? Your sign company designers can make a beautiful sign that lasts for life, a beautiful ID cabinet, and the customer can't screw that up. My product, they can make it look terrible or they can make it look great. And so we partner with a company called Project Content. I would be happy to give you guys demos offline. But Project Content makes it easy for anybody to make good looking stuff, right? No more blinking orange text on a red background. It's template based, it's made for outdoor digital signage, and it's created by professional designers that know how to create content for outdoor signs. We've all driven by those signs where people think they're going to take their flyer, their 8.5 by 11 flyer with 7,000 words on it and try to put it on their sign. there's a learning curve to outdoor digital media, or outdoor media in general, really. And so project content has taken the hard work out of the equation and creates great looking stuff, makes it very easy to go beyond that black box and create great looking signs. And the thing I love about great looking signs, A, it makes me feel good that I sold that customer something that really is going to work for them. That's primary. But B, that great looking sign is going to lead to referrals. When other business owners are driving around town, they want to see that little sticker that you put on when you left on the side of the sign. And the sign with great content is going to be the one they remember and look to call in and ask about, or stop in and ask about who built your sign. I can't tell you how many places I have seen, or sign companies I have talked to, where they say, yeah, my customer that uses project content, or my customer that's really good with their own graphic design, they're fewer and farther between. I've had 3 people stop and ask me, or 3 people stop and ask them where they got that sign. And it's not even about the resolution or the manufacturer or any of the stuff that we've talked about. It's about how good does that content look, how bright is that sign, and how good is the product overall. So when you bring a complete solution, you feel great knowing that you're really going to help them sell more widgets, and it's probably going to lead to you selling a few more signs. So that is my spiel. I'm kind of exhausted, but this is my phone number. It's my cell phone, and my email address. So in addition to any questions you might drop in the Q&A, feel free to text me, call me, shoot me a quick message. If you'd like to run through any of the calculator stuff that I couldn't quite share because I'm not very good at Microsoft Teams, I can show you how, if you want to go to the next level of comparing digital signage to other media or comparing digital signage to a potential ROI, we can run some numbers and look at any of your scenarios that might help you win a deal. And like I said, make some more money.
Thank you so much, Brett. There are no questions in the Q&A. I'll give it a minute just to see if anybody has any questions they'd like to ask.
I had to have missed something.
Someone did ask, who are the distributors for Next? So obviously we are.
Yeah, we have a handful of distributors nationwide. Obviously, Tube Light Denko is a great one that covers really almost every corner of the U.S.
All right, well, there's no other questions. Thank you again, Brett. Like you said, his information is on the screen. You can also reach out to us at marketing@tubelight.com, and we can direct you to the correct person who can help you with any questions that you may have. Thank you so much, and everybody have a great day.
Thanks, y'all.